another thirsty Thursday. One more day till Friday, and that's one day away from Saturday. Saturday is better than Sunday. It's not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, it's Thursday. It's not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, it's Thursday. It's Thursday. Thursday's the day that we take for granted, because we know our Friday plans could be slanted. The day's only 2 days from the weekend, and only 36 hours from hanging with our friends. And something tells me this day will go fine. And for dinner, I think I'll have a glass of wine. It's not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, it's Thursday. It's not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, it's Thursday. It's Thursday. Thursday, for the hump day. Yeah, Thursday, the end in sight day. Oh, Thursday, what could be worse day? Oh, it's Thursday, Randy Hughes is brewing more beer for the weekend day. Not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, it's Thursday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, it's Thursday. It's Thirsty Thursday.
Yeah!
That is beautiful.
It is beautiful. Because it comes from our good friend Andy Hughes of Tug. His version of the Thursday song from many years ago. It's good to see him yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Looking good.
We're not going to have a chance to check him out on Saturday night for his Cash in Hand Johnny Cash tribute show. But he is playing at the Alpine tomorrow night as well, and we don't have any plans, so maybe we'll sneak up there for a little beverage or two. I'm much like Jamie Lee Curtis. I want a matinee show, something at 2, 3, 4 in the afternoon. I don't want these 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clockers. I can't do it anymore. Last weekend was a one-off.
It took you to your limit, did it?
I just Sunday was rough. I didn't like overdo it with the drinks or anything. It was just
the time.
Well, a lot of walking around, a lot of interacting with other human beings.
Yep, that's good stuff. That's
loud
good stuff.
concert, beers.
What?
Getting up early like I normally do and going to bed really late, which I don't normally do. So, yeah, Sunday was definitely a day of relaxation after the Riverfront Revolt. But if you could give me like a 2 or a 3 or a 4 o'clock matinee show.
How about 6? 5 or 6? 6?
The issue is not so much the start time. It's I don't know if I want to leave the house at that time of day. You know what I mean? Like, I get done with work at like 10, 10:30, 11 at the latest. I go home, I deal with the dogs, I do some stuff around the house. I get back on the computer, do a little bit of work, some prep for the following day. And then by 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, like, I'm just done. I'm done with the day. I've been up since 1 a.m. So, and I wait for my wife to come home at 5, and I make dinner and, or whatever, and we watch a little TV, and I'm in bed by 7 o'clock. And I still only get 5, 6 hours of sleep, which is fine, but you start talking about going out at 4 or 5 o'clock.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How about you go out when you're
Then you're not home till 8, and it's like, why even bother sleeping at that point? You know what I mean? Just stay up all night. And I don't want to do that anymore. Thursday, that means Office Cora is going to join us a bit later on. We'll talk to her after 8 o'clock, find out what she's up to this weekend in the 715. Also, our very first ever Hypothetical Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do your homework? No, you didn't.
Do I have a question? Yes, I have a question.
I knew you wouldn't do it.
I have a question. That is so negative. You're negative.
I'm not negative. I'm a realist. I live in the real world, and I knew you would not do your homework. And that's fine. You could Google one and come up with one, but you got an hour, okay?
I already have one, Mr. Smarty Pants.
I doubt it. Hypothetically speaking, do you have a question ready?
Hypothetically, yes.
Today is the day, man. 54.
Dude.
So I just want to remind everybody that has been waiting for the day when it's warm enough to take your Christmas lights down. Today's that day. Do it, because you look stupid. I'm sick and tired of coming to work and seeing people's Christmas lights and their trees.
I just drove past
It's friggin' February, all right?
Lit snowman on my way in.
Yeah, bring those in. It's time.
The snowmans are fine.
Stop it. It's not Christmas anymore. It's almost February. Grow up, Peter Pan. It's going to be 54 today. If you're one of those people, and I get it, right? You don't want to be on a ladder in January when it's 10 below zero. Mm-hmm. Okay. But this is it, Banya. This is the lunch. 54 degrees today. No more excuses. Take down your Christmas lights.
Actually, pretty warm through the weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like about 40 on Friday and
30.
back into the 50s on Sunday.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to open the windows in the house today. Like all of them. I think I'm going to go home, turn it off, and open them up.
Car windows open on my way home from work yesterday, for sure. Yeah. But then 18 on Monday, so buckle up.
If you need something, find us online at rockmornings.com. We'll get to Bad News Happy Music later on. The friggin' sports, daily check-ins. Also got some 3 days grace in just a few minutes, so stick around.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. More from Brian and Gene is coming up.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Tragedy in D.C. as the FAA confirmed last night that an American Airlines regional jet collided midair with a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter near Reagan Washington National Airport just outside of D.C. Happened at about 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Both aircraft crashing into the Potomac River. Naturally, a search and rescue operation underway. Details still coming out. Fatalities obviously confirmed. And just an absolute tragedy.
This evening at 8:48, an alert was sounded, initiating a large regional response to a report of an aircraft crash on approach to the airport. At 8:58, the first units arrived on the scene and found an aircraft in the water and began rescue operations. This incident has grown. There's currently about 300 responders working, so it's a highly complex operation. The conditions out there are extremely rough.
You know, when one person dies, it's a tragedy, but when many, many, many people die, it's an unbearable sorrow. It's a heartbreak beyond measure. It's really hard when you lose probably over 60 Kansans simultaneously. I don't want to forget the pilots and the flight attendants and the military personnel we lost. Now, all those lives are so valuable, and it is such a tragedy that we lost them. Certainly we're crushed in spirit tonight. We mourn with the families who lost loved ones, and thank you for your thoughts and your prayers.
The American Airlines flight had departed a couple hours earlier from Wichita, Kansas, making its approach to a runway. At the time of the collision, officials said the plane split in two, 60 passengers along with four crew members on board. The U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter had a crew of 3, according to a U.S. defense official. Late last night, a senior FBI official said there was no indication of any criminality or terrorism in the crash. Reagan, by the way, the busiest runway in America with over 800 landings and takeoffs each and every day of the year. The crash occurring as Flight 5342 prepared for landing. The helicopter was on a training flight at the time of the incident, according to an official. Video of the incident shows a massive fireball erupting upon impact and the two aircrafts crashing into the Potomac River. Deaths have been confirmed. Rescuers have yet to find any survivors in the river, according to law enforcement. Passenger jet reportedly in pieces in the water with the helicopter nearby. Conditions, obviously, in the river, very cold, windy, and difficult, but it looks like 64 people on that passenger jet with another 3 soldiers on that helicopter, probably all going to be dead.
From the U.S. figure skating team, these athletes, coaches, and family members were returning home to D.C. from the National Development Camp that was held in conjunction with the U.S. Figure Skating Championship
I saw there was
in
members
Wichita,
of an Olympic
Kansas.
team.
This is the U.S. figure skating team. They were all athletes, family members, trainers, coaches, and participants in the U.S. figure skating team that were returning from a championship in Wichita. And were 400 feet from landing. I mean, they were in the descent. And
as of right now, like I said, according to the news reports that I read, there's no threat of terrorism or anything like that. Obviously, malfunction or somebody didn't do their job right or who knows what. But obviously, details will be coming out throughout the day and the week as we continue to get updates on the horrific crash between an American Airlines flight and a Black Hawk helicopter at Reagan Airport in D.C.
I was telling you that we were at this area this summer when we took our trip to Washington, and we stayed it's called the Wharf, and it's right there on the Potomac, and you can see the airport's literally across the river from it, and there's also military establishments like down the river, and so there's planes and helicopters and stuff everywhere.
Heartland, Wisconsin, you know where that is?
I don't.
A 72-year-old bus driver in Heartland was arrested earlier this week, facing multiple charges, including operating while intoxicated, after police said he wouldn't let kids off the bus and was driving erratically.
I didn't go in hard. bus driver one apparently didn't stop at the last 8 stops, and the student screaming in the background.
We were screaming, "Stop the bus, stop the bus, stop the bus." I was scared because he didn't stop at any of the first few stops, and I was scared that the other kids weren't going to get to go home. We were just like getting mad over little stuff.
Honestly, thank God for cell phones, because the kids on board all probably, or most of them, had cell phones and were able to call 911 and get the police to respond to this situation. But you think about, when we were kids going on the school bus, you just waited till the bus stopped and then you'd get off. But the ordeal happened at about 4:30 on Monday. A student called 911 from the bus to report the behavior. The driver of the bus eventually stopped. Parents who arrived to pick up their kids confronted him. The entire bus was then evacuated, and the driver drove away. Heartland police later conducted a traffic stop and arrested the driver. After further investigation, he was booked into the Waukesha County Jail and referred to the DA office for charges of operating while intoxicated. First offense with a passenger under 16 years old, and a second-degree recklessly endangering safety. The bus operated by Dousman Transport Company for the Heartland Lakeside School District. The incident, of course, still under investigation. But, yeah, it sounds like this guy's going to have some serious ramifications for this. Probably never going to drive a bus again.
Heartland is a village along the Bark River in Waukesha County. It's a suburb of Milwaukee, and the population is about 10,000.
West Dallas. Multiple agencies in the state of Wisconsin announcing earlier this week that 14 people were arrested for participating in a large drug trafficking operation in the Milwaukee area. According to a post from the Dallas Police Department, a 60-count criminal complaint issued in Milwaukee County which charges 19 people with manufacturing and delivering fentanyl, heroin, and cocaine. The other charges included second-degree reckless endangerment, firearm possession by a felon, bail jumping, narcotics possession, and a whole bunch of other stuff. The following cities, of course, executing the search warrant: Milwaukee, Wauwatosa, Cudahy, and Brown Deer. And as a result of those search warrants, 14 arrests were made, along with the recovery of a kilogram of cocaine, several ounces of fentanyl, and 12 guns. One of the guns modified to create a fully automatic handgun weapon. 3D printer also located in one of the residents with a ghost gun. So, yeah, it sounds like a lot of that crap's going to be off the street now. And have you seen the worst mayor in America? Have you heard about this chick?
Mm-mm.
Man, oh, man.
No.
I didn't really care because it doesn't, it's not around here. It doesn't affect me. But I've seen the stories at least pop up online on different websites. But her name is Tiffany Henyard, and she is the scandal-plagued mayor of Dolton, Illinois. And now it's getting even worse for her. The internet's already dubbed her America's worst mayor. And there's now a video of her jumping into a brawl that broke out between her boyfriend and an activist who called her a bitch during a board meeting earlier this week. The fight happened during a Thornton Township Board of Trustees meeting after activist Jedediah Brown had some strong words for Henyard, the mayor. Brown referenced the findings of former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot's investigation into Henyard, as a scathing report presented to the village board on Monday night alleged a pattern of deception and mismanagement of funds by the mayor. He said, "You've been a half-ass mayor, but if you wanted to get up here and earn some respect, then you should have been able to respond to Lori Lightfoot's reports about credit cards. You want to talk about them not coming to work? But we've been hearing what you've been doing while you've been at work, and I'm going to give away the rest of my time because I think on behalf of the Black Cookout Association that we better take a vote that we're going to exchange your black ass for Stephanie to be the new member."
Oh my gosh, what is happening?
And then it ended up with the big B word, and all of a sudden the fracas erupted with the mayor lady's boyfriend, and then she jumped in and her wig came off, and it was just a scene, man. Just an absolute scene. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? This is wild. Barstool's got the video, by the way, if you want to see it.
I'm sure.
One witness said, quote, "I have never seen a politician jump in and fight like that. It was scary and horrible. It is an embarrassment."
WWE.
More like MMA. I mean, when real fists are getting thrown, yeah. Yeah, America's worst mayor. Don't get me wrong. I don't like our mayor, but I wouldn't dub him America's worst mayor.
Throws the table to the side.
Oh, yeah, man. She's all about it. All about it. The first rule of Mayor Fight Club is...
You definitely fight.
Yeah. Waylon coming up in just a bit. Right now, it's 3 Days Grace.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Our good friends in Wayland with Get a Little on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Text from our buddy Jim in Kuwait. Said, good morning. Had to take down the scorpion. He started to bring his friends and hiding in my boots.
Nope.
I said, kill without prejudice.
Absolutely.
Ugh. No, thank you. I'm glad I don't have to wake up with that problem. What's in my shoe today?
Mm-hmm. That's a different game.
Yeah, that is a different game. Badgers. Last night against Maryland, had the lead in the second half, but then blew it. Maryland went on a 14-2 run, took the lead, and did not relinquish it. Number 17, Wisconsin, losing to unranked Maryland last night, 76-68. Badgers will be at Northwestern on Saturday. That tip-off is at 1 o'clock, and the game will be on FS1 if you want to check it out. Bucks finishing up their 4-game road trip in San Antonio against the Spurs tomorrow night. That'll be a 7 p.m. tip. Wemby. Giannis. Mike McCarthy, former Packers head coach, former Dallas Cowboys head coach, in the running for the Saints job now, no longer planning to coach this year. Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore has emerged as a lead candidate to fill the Saints head coaching vacancy. McCarthy's going to take a year off. Maybe he'll do the Mike Vrabel and be a consultant for a team. Usually these guys don't actually take the year off. They just
do something else.
Well, they get sort of like a half-time job. You know what I mean? Where they like show up and they hang out with a team and they're around the game. They're doing something. They're earning a paycheck, but they're not really responsible for anything. So, Reggie Miller, Hall of Famer. Reggie Miller going to join NBC Sports as its top color commentator when the NBA returns to NBC Sports later this year. Miller will reportedly call the games alongside play-by-play broadcasters Mike Tirico and Noah Eagle. Starting with the 25-26 season, Miller has worked as an NBA analyst for TNT since 2005, so he's making the jump and probably going to get paid handsomely for his duties. Bill Belichick was on the Let's Go podcast with co-host Jim Gray, and he said that we should rename the Lombardi Trophy to the Tom Brady Trophy.
Shut up. Shut up.
Yes.
Well, that's nice that he said that. Come on.
Super Bowl trophy has been named after Vince Lombardi, legendary Packers coach who led his team to the win in the first 2 Super Bowls. And Belichick said coaches can't win games without players and suggested that the Lombardi Trophy be renamed after Tom Brady, who won an NFL record 7 Super Bowl rings in his career. Belichick making those comments again on the Let's Go podcast this week in a conversation with the co-host, Jim Gray.
It's not happening.
I don't know. They might dig up some dirt on Vince Lombardi. You know, maybe one of those things, he might get canceled.
Oh, come on.
Can't cancel Tom Brady. Guy's too damn good.
Oh,
it's
get
like
out
Jesus.
of here.
He's like
Nobody
walking
wants
around.
that.
Everybody wants it.
Nobody wants that.
Everybody wants it.
Not one person wants it in America.
Everyone thinks that the
Get out of
trophy,
here.
the trophy that is awarded to the Super Bowl champions,
come on.
would be better off called the Tom Brady
Oh my God.
Memorial Trophy.
Everyone's going to barf. Massive barfing.
Be so wonderful. It'd be like a religious experience to get it. It'd almost be like touching the hand of God.
Nobody cares.
It would be fantastic. I mean, people bring their children to the stadium in hopes that Brady will be in the same room, in the same stadium, so they can breathe the same air as Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Next Sunday, the Chiefs and the Eagles battling out for the Tom Brady Trophy.
Board?
No. We have a board?
We have a $10 board upstairs. Are you going to gamble on it?
Number 1, no, because I don't go upstairs. Number 2, no, because I don't want to.
$10.
No.
50, 50, 50, 100? Is that how it goes?
I don't have any faith in anyone upstairs running a board.
It's Cedric. You can figure it out. It's $10.
Yeah, I
for
don't.
a square.
No,
take a square.
I don't want to lose to one of those girls up there.
Well, you're not. It's random. It's
some
just
girl
a square
wearing a jumper every day to work.
Yes.
Doesn't know diddly poo about football.
It's squares. You don't have to know anything. You just give them $10 and then you get payout.
No,
I'm going to gamble.
That's not gambling.
It's not?
Not really. I mean, there's no chance at skill at whatsoever. You have no real opportunity to play the odds.
You have a skill on spooky spins?
Yes, you do. If you know when the jackpots hit, you do. If you know that the minor hits about $90, yeah, then you can up your bet to maximize your takeout.
That's what it is.
Miles Kennedy coming up in just a bit. Also, a Hypothetical Thursday. We'll get to that after 7 o'clock. Office Core going to join us just after 8 a.m. And if you need something, like our buddy Jim in Kuwait, get in touch with us. rockmornings.com for all our contact info.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on your rock station.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene, some Dead Poet Society. Miles Kennedy before that. The Pro Bowl games get started tonight on ESPN. 2025 Pro Bowl games, Skills Showdown. Starts at 6 p.m. on ESPN. I care absolutely
does anybody
not
care about that?
About the Pro Bowl or any of that stuff, no. I know people, sort of get into it. You see some of these guys who are freak athletes do things without the pads on, but I don't know. I'm not tuning in. Meanwhile, on CBS, George and Mandy's first marriage returns from its winter break, followed by the return of Ghosts and the return of Matlock. I've heard a lot of people say good things about Kathy Bates as Matlock. Also on CBS, Elsbeth returns from its winter break. Second season premiere of The Recruit on Netflix today, and on Amazon, the Will Ferrell, Reese Witherspoon movie, You're Cordially Invited.
Oh, yes.
Have you seen the commercials?
I have.
The trailers?
Yes.
Two weddings are accidentally booked at the same romantic venue. The father of the bride, played by Will Ferrell, and the sister of the other bride, played by Reese Witherspoon, go overboard trying to maximize the experience while forcing the other person to miss out on certain things. There was a couple of trailers for it last night as we were getting ready to watch Major League. Back in theaters, obviously, after the passing of Bob Uecker. Jimmy Fallon is talking to Pete Davidson and Sadie Sink tonight. Jimmy Kimmel's got Pam Anderson, Will Sasso, and The Weeknd. Nicole Kidman's going to be talking to Stephen Colbert, and Will Forte will be on with Seth Meyers. I watched Gladiator 2 yesterday. It's on Paramount Plus.
How was it?
It's not even close to as good as the first one. It was good. It was, I don't know, there's a part where, and whatever, it's a movie and it's always like you have to be able to suspend belief for a lot of things, but, they're in the Coliseum and they're battling it out. The gladiators are in there and whatever, and they recreate.
Is there tigers or no?
Well, in the first one, they got tigers, right? Okay. All right, tigers, you get tigers, put them on a chain. Doesn't seem all that out of the ordinary, right? We've seen many movies about gladiator gladiator-style films about the Roman Empire, and there's tigers and hippos and rhinoceroses and all sorts of crazy animals. They recreate these famous battles in the Coliseum, right? That's what they do for these gladiator battles, where
there's a crowd watching, there's royalty,
right? But it's a famous battle that they have recounted in stories and tablets and whatever, and then they recreate it with actual gladiators and whatever prisoners and whoever they throw in there. Well, one of the battles that they recreate is must have been a battle in the ocean between two boats. And so they half fill the Coliseum up with water, like it's a watertight arena that can just hold ocean water. And then they got a bunch of sharks swimming around.
Shush.
Oh, yeah. And the boats are in. And it just, it was a little much. It was like, okay.
How did you get the water in here?
Right. Did you have a nice pool lining? Did you have a pool guy come over? And yeah.
Lasers and sharks and boats and.
I was like, come on, man. Come on. I mean, visually as a movie watcher, you're like, oh, that's cool. But in your brain, you're like, there's no effing way that they ever did this. There's no way. No way.
Right.
I mean, you're talking about a very porous surface, lots of stone, lots of dirt, gravel, a lot of doors, a lot of gates.
It's very dusty, isn't it?
Wow. I mean, you would have to flood the thing from top to bottom in the hopes that some of the water would stay in. Yeah, it was just, other than that, I don't know. The storyline, I thought, relied too much on the original film. It couldn't stand on its own. There was a little bit too much nostalgia.
So it's on Netflix?
Paramount Plus. So basically, the premise is that the kid in the first movie
Is the kid of the gladiator?
No, so the kid in the first movie, who's the kid of the sister of Joaquin Phoenix's character, after Joaquin Phoenix is killed by Maximus in the first movie, she sends the kid off because there's people in the Senate and in the government there that are going to want to take him out because he's the rightful heir to the throne of Rome. So she sends him off, and they don't really get into that whole thing
Like
and
where he went?
how he ends up where he ends up, but he ends up, like married and living his life and whatever. But then
Were there dwarves, 7 dwarves, and Snow White? Was there?
But then the Roman army comes and tries to take his town, and they end up killing his wife, and he's trying to get revenge on the German.
You're spoiling it.
The German military guy who ends up being married to his mom, and it's just, I don't know, it's a little bit much.
You had me at the Sharks.
The first one was really good, though. You know what I mean? So I had high hopes that it would be good, but it would just, it wasn't all that good. Did you get a chance to catch anything yesterday, or are you just here too long?
I was here too long. Yeah.
You know there is life outside of this building,
right?
right?
Really badly.
Well, then leave. Don't be here. I don't know. I don't get what you're putting in 13-hour days. What do you think's going to happen? Get out of here. I mean, best of luck to you, but anyways, rockmornings.com. Find us online. Hypothetical Thursday. Each of us coming up with a hypothetical question for the other person. We'll get to that after 7 o'clock. I gave Jean some homework. We'll see if she actually did it, or if she's just Googling hypothetical questions right now.
I'm not Googling right now. I did this last night.
How much time did you put into your project?
Lori and I talked about it for probably 15 minutes.
And you got insight from Lori? Great.
Not insight. We
All
just
right.
hung out.
Drinking wine?
Hell yeah.
All right.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on your rock station.
Green Day with Boulevard of Broken Dreams. Text from Steve said that historically they did flood the Coliseum, apparently. He says that's actually accurate. I don't know about the Sharks, but they did flood the Coliseum to imitate sea battles. I just did a quick Google, and it does say that the Coliseum was not flooded with sharks. However, it did get flooded with water for mock sea battles, and the Romans did release marine life into the water for other displays. The other issue I have with the whole sea battle thing inside of the Coliseum is that they did it like a day after they had another battle. You would assume that this would be a lengthy process.
Maintenance is like, no, we can't have 2 shows in 24 hours, man. We can't. No.
The Coliseum's underground hypogeum made it impossible to flood the arena with water for further sea battles. Archaeologists have not found shark teeth or other signs of sharks in the Coliseum. The Roman historian Cassius Dio wrote that animals were involved in the Coliseum sea battles, but they were horses and bulls, not sharks. Yeah, I'm just watching this, and as a person who's never been to Rome and never seen the Coliseum in person, I'm just like, visually,
How
I'm like,
does that work?
Come on, man. You can't just pick up the ocean and put it inside the Coliseum and expect people to believe it. It just seemed a bit much. Visually, it was stunning. It was great. Don't get me wrong. Watching guys fall in the water, get eaten by sharks, but I don't know. It seemed like a bit much when I was watching Gladiator 2 yesterday.
Yeah. I can see the engineering staff and maintenance going,
You want to do this in 12 hours? Okay. We'll just...
Caesar says we got to get some water in here. Some sharks. Go get some sharks. Can somebody catch a shark for us quick? We got to throw them in here.
Well, I think when you open the gates, the sharks just come in.
Oh, I see.
Right? No?
Okay.
Right.
These flat bottom ships, are these flat, like...
No, they were like they were scale. They were like a large scale model of an actual ship that was
like
using
a pirate
these.
ship? Arr.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to think of it in that term,
Like
but it wasn't
vessel?
it wasn't the size of an actual, ship that you would go across the sea in back in the Roman Empire days. But it was it had to fit in the Colosseum. And that's the other, how do they get that thing into the Coliseum? Do they have to build it inside of it? Or, do they have a crane that they drop it in there or a helicopter?
Open up the doors and just
they got
back it
doors
in
big
through the
enough to
back
get
end?
in there? I mean, yeah, it just seemed far-fetched. That's all. That's all. Rockmornings.com for all of our contact information. And the other thing, too, was the first one was very set in reality for me, watching it. You could see, there was not a lot of stuff in the movie that seemed far-fetched in the first Gladiator.
Uh-huh. But this one,
but
just looking at this
one,
water
just that
here,
one. Did you see
a fleet of boats, thousands of oarsmen, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
the Coliseum.
Lincoln Park coming up in just a few minutes. And again, if you need something, find us online at rockmornings.com.
Stuff done.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Lincoln Park with Crawling on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. National Croissant Day. Did you bring any croissant?
I did not.
Anything?
I have a banana and some
I got an orange.
cheese.
Yeah. National Draw a Dinosaur Day.
I think we did this, didn't we?
Yeah, Rex, right over there. Shaw's dinosaur that he
Shaw's
drew
dinosaur.
last year when we did Draw a Dinosaur Day.
Where is he?
Rex.
Oh, yeah.
Underneath the autograph model
I see. Yeah. I remember.
from the guy who said he got Stephanie Seymour's autograph, right? And it's also National Yodel for Your Neighbors Day. Yodelate. No?
I got 2 new neighbors. Both sides of me
Are
moved in
these
within
the
the last year.
decorative people that put your decorations to shame?
They did a nice job.
Okay.
They did a nice
And now
job.
you got more new neighbors?
Both sides of me.
Have
in
you
the last year?
Have you welcomed them to the neighborhood? Are
Yes.
you a welcomer?
Well, I mean, not like with a casserole or cupcakes or anything, but I've introduced myself and said hi. And
We've lived in our house now for almost 6 years, and I still remember how delicious and moist
I know. I know. She did a
that
good
cinnamon
job.
cake thing that Sue brought over to me was when all I did was plow her driveway. Like the first time I
She
moved,
brought
and
you this
Oh,
cake.
God damn, it was so
Award-winning
good.
cake.
I don't care. I don't need any awards. I need to eat it. It was so delicious. Yeah. Now she's pawning off all her Christmas lights on me and everything. So I might be in line for something out of her will. I don't know what's going on. Not that I'm wishing her to, but I'm.
What, you're forming a relationship? Is that what
Well,
you're
just
saying?
she randomly one day I was working on the lawn and she's like, "Oh, Brian, I've got some lights that I don't put up and blah blah blah, and they've been in the garage and I found them and would you like them?" And she's like, "You do such a great job decorating your house," and I'm like, "Hell yeah, I'll take some free lights."
And where's that cinnamon cake?
Yeah, exactly. 8-year-old kid in Philly. His name is Declan LeBaron. It's a hell of a name. And he's in the news after an internet do-gooder, one of these people that does philanthropy for likes and clicks and all that stuff, helped him out in a big way. So Declan, the 8-year-old kid in Philly, has got juvenile arthritis, and he's been in the hospital 17 times in 8 years, right? A lot. A guy named Zachary Daranowski runs an account called MD Motivator and does nice stuff for deserving people, and his followers recently suggested that he do something nice for Declan, who loves the Philadelphia Eagles, who just played in the NFC Championship game over the weekend. Declan was walking around a dollar store with his mom when Zach apparently came up to him, and of course this is all on video, offered him $1,000 in cash or a mystery gift, and Declan, of course, chose the mystery gift, and it was...
Tickets?
2 tickets to the NFC Championship game. Never even been to an NFL game in his life.
Yeah. Oh.
So he was super pumped up, and then
Yeah.
Zach, the do-gooder,
Yes.
gave him the $1,000 so he could spend it on whatever. Declan actually handed it out to random customers at the store.
Oh, no.
Would you rather have $1,000 cash or a mystery bird?
Mystery bird. I just like the Eagles a lot.
Oh, you love the Eagles? And you've been in the hospital?
17 times.
You've been in the hospital 17 times?
Yeah.
Close your eyes, and on the count of 3, say, fly, Eagles, fly. 1, 2, 3.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Thank you.
Those are tickets you're going to the game, man.
Love you.
Love you, bro.
You know we're going to win the day.
Best day of my life. We're going to the Super Bowl.
He was fooled, obviously. They kept it a secret from him, but he thought he was on his way to an Eagles party at his hospital. And Declan was approached by Zach there in the dollar store. Popular content creator tries to spread kindness.
So like Mr. Beast kind of thing almost?
Mom, Jill, says for Declan, it really affects his joints. He gets really high fever, rashes. There are weeks he can't walk without assistance. Zach put out the call to his followers looking for a deserving Eagles fan. Declan supporters overwhelmingly responding, saying this is the kid. And in the viral video, Zach, of course, asked Declan, who's all decked out in his Eagles gear because he thought he was going to an Eagles party, if he'd rather have the cash or the mystery gift. And Declan says, yeah, man, I'll take the mystery gift. Also got to meet Saquon Barkley at the game. I don't know if you saw that.
No,
yeah,
that's so great.
Very cool.
Oh, that arthritis. Terrible.
Yeah. The story continues at the game. Not only did he get a chance to be in the crowd and watch the win over the Rams, but he also made it onto the field to meet LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah.
Got his jersey signed by Saquon Barkley, took home some gloves from Isaiah Rodgers, even got a wave from another Eagles fan, Bradley Cooper, who was in the house. Next day, you got to go back to school and cock of the walk, right? Yeah. Pretty cool moment for Declan out of Philly, 8-year-old. We've got a day to remember and some puddle of mud and our first Hypothetical Thursday coming up in just a few minutes. Mm-hmm. Asking each other hypothetical questions. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that maybe, we've been on in Eau Claire now, in the Eau Claire area for over a year. And there might be some people up there who don't really know us very well. They can assume things based on listening, but these hypothetical questions will further explain the madness that I have to work with every day.
You just zip it. Zip.
You ready?
Shutteth.
Hypothetical Thursday coming up in just a bit.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Start your day with Rock Mornings.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. I thought a few days ago maybe it's time to introduce something new to the program. It's been a while since we've done some new stuff. Obviously, Shaw left us last year.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's new stuff every day because every day is new.
Right, but in terms of like something that maybe we do on a regular basis. We've done a few different things as the show has morphed over the years. Are you going to shoot a rubber band at me?
That's new.
Yeah. I mean, so, we've played a lot of games. What's in Crystal's Mouth? Dirty Movie Monday, right? Mm-hmm. We had
all sorts of stuff. The answers.
Pillow Pants, our intern years ago, the Cheese Whiz Slip and Slide. The answer is always 9. We actually had people that failed. The only answer to the question was 9.
Always.
And we would get people that would answer incorrectly. Mm-hmm. It was amazing to me.
The game was called The Answer's 9.
Which is why I played it, because I wanted to see if anybody would get the joke, and there were people that didn't get the joke. So I thought maybe Hypothetical Thursday, right? You hear about hypothetical questions in relationships, sports a lot. Is that you bleeping over there?
I don't think so. It's you.
Oh, it's the music behind it. Corbin actually texted in, and this is not for us, but he said, hypothetical question, if I get absolutely sloshed at my wife's work party and start dancing on the bar to Cotton Eye Joe, how much trouble do you think I would be in?
I want to see video.
I would say all the trouble. Capital letters on all. Depends on what kind of business it is. Is it button up, shirt and tie kind of party?
I don't know, but Cotton Eye Joe, that sounds like a fun night.
On the bar, no less.
Yeah, I want to see it. Probably
not coming back next year. So this go around for this question will be from Gene. Mine I'll ask the next time we do a break here. But so I gave you the homework to come up with a hypothetical question, and go ahead and shoot fire.
So I took your passion for movies and kind of extrapolated from there. So if you could be any character in any movie, who would you be?
It would be the Robert Redford character in The Natural. My favorite movie of all time is The Natural. As a kid growing up, playing baseball, loving baseball the way I did, Red Sox, all that stuff, playing in the backyard, having a catch with Dad. Very few fond memories of time with my father, and one of them was playing catch in the backyard. I never really got good at baseball. I played on some good teams, but I was never very good. And that scene in The Natural, even though when I was a kid I didn't quite understand a lot of the themes and the topics from the movie, he gets shot, he comes back, he ends up hitting the home run, the lights and all running and all that. Everything is great. And then as I got older, and you temper that with the strained relationship with his father and with his family and with his, and all that, and it kind of, so that, so I think it's Roy Hodges is his name in the movie. Robert Redford plays him. If I could, and it's just for that one moment. It has nothing to do with like a lifelong dream of being.
Yeah, not action. It's not an action movie with like.
No, I mean, I like John McClane. Bruce Willis is badass,
But you don't want to have your feet all cut up?
No, I don't. But just that, go pick me a winner, Bobby. I mean, just everything about that was magic. It just is, it's the thing you dream about as a child, right? When you're playing sports, if you're a sports guy, that magical
you hope
moment.
To be good and
right, the winning the game, the home run, the 3-pointer, whatever. And for me, it was that home run. So that would be hypothetical question for me if I could
be the natural.
Would be Robert Redford, and not so much for getting shot in the gut and all that, but like just that moment at the end. Because that probably would have sucked. Some crazy stalker lady on a train and all that crap. And and he gets a girl in the end, and he has a kid, and like you're having a catch with this kid out there in the grass.
So it's a win.
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah. Have you never seen The Natural?
Seen it.
All right, that's what you came up with, huh? Hypothetical question. All right. Well, this is week 1. We'll see what Gene comes up with for week 2. My question's coming up a bit later on. We'll get to sports here, and then after that, I'll get to my hypothetical question for Gene. I don't think you're going to like it.
I don't like anything about this, and we didn't talk about it. You just decide things.
You're busy. You got meetings all day. I don't have time to get a word in edgewise. You're doing emails and talking about jackets and stuff. I have no idea what the hell's going on in this place.
It's a very busy place. A lot of things.
If you want to chime in on this, maybe give us your answer to the hypothetical question that Gene asked. Feel free, rockmornings.com.
Who would you be in a movie? Is that what you mean?
Roy Hobbs, not Hodges. I don't know why. Paul. Thank you, Paul, for the correction. Roy Hobbs. Rob texted in, The Natural was a great movie. My childhood dream was playing college baseball. It
speaks to all of those things.
I have a lot of unresolved issues from my childhood, obviously. So for me, like that dream of becoming a baseball player and that magical moment that is done so well in that film in a way that I never saw before is why that position, that movie character, if I could trade places or be that, even just in that one instance, I don't know about the rest of his life or whatever, but that's where I would go. What about, ask yourself that question.
I did.
And your answer?
Probably Buttercup from Princess Bride.
Okay. Is that how you came up with the question? Was what would I do? And then you said, I wonder what Brian would say? What did you think I was going to say?
I thought you were going to say some action movie.
Like Arnold?
Like Arnold.
Okay.
And I don't know, Predator or something. Lots of guns, lots of shooting, ends up the hero.
Roy Hobbs ends up the hero?
Well, I know. In a much more soft and meaningful way.
Again, I have a lot of issues that I am not dealing with healthily from my childhood. So therefore, that's why I live in movies. Mm-hmm. That's why I fantasize about stuff like that. But Princess Buttercup, huh?
It's adventure. It's funny. She's, treated awesome.
You don't want to get treated like dirt? Okay. All right.
As you wish. I mean, come on.
Hypothetical Thursday. We'll continue in a bit, and I will ask Gene a hypothetical question. Again, if you want to chime in, rockmornings.com for all our contact info. It's a day to remember.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find the daily podcast at rockmornings.com.
Puddle of Mud with Blurry on Rock Mornings. The 17th ranked Wisconsin Badgers basketball team lost.
Had some troubles last night.
To unranked Maryland last night, 76-68. They will be at Northwestern on Saturday at 1 p.m. on FS1.
Mm-hmm.
Bucks off until tomorrow night when they will finish up their 4-game road trip in San Antonio against the Spurs. It'll be a 7 p.m. tip. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said yesterday that he likes the idea of shortening games to 40 minutes by going from a 12-minute quarter to a 10-minute quarter. Everybody's trying to shorten up their product. Said as we get more involved in global basketball, the NBA is the only league that plays 48 minutes, and I am a fan of 4 10-minute quarters. This is a appearance on the Dan Patrick Show yesterday. He said, I'm not sure that many others are. Putting aside what it means for records and things like that, I think that a 2-hour format for a game is more consistent with modern television habits. NBA games this season, by the way, run 2 hours and 16 minutes on average, nearly identical to the past 15 years.
Is that extra 15 minutes rough?
I don't know. I mean, it's an extra 15 minutes to sell ads, you know. So which one is more valuable? The attention span of the viewer or the money you can make in that extra 15 minutes on advertising?
When you're paying for tickets to go to the game, does it feel too long when you're like actually in the house?
No, I mean, if you look at the four major sports, you know, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, hockey, you know, baseball takes the longest. It's the slowest.
But they've been doing everything they can to shorten that too.
Right. But in terms of pace of play, it's the NHL, then it's the NBA, then it's football, and then it's baseball. You know, so I don't know. I don't think it'll happen, but he's a fan of it. Elsewhere in basketball, Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark wants her first three-point contest to come at the WNBA All-Star Weekend in Indianapolis and not in a special challenge during the NBA All-Star Weekend. There had been speculation that Caitlin Clark might participate in a contest similar to the one from last year's NBA All-Star Weekend where Steph Curry and New York Liberty's Sabrina Ionescu took the court in the WNBA three-point challenge. There was talks that, or rumors that Caitlin Clark might participate in something like that this year, but she doesn't want to do that. She apparently wants to wait and do it in the WNBA All-Star Game. So,
okay.
And, of course, next Sunday is the Super Bowl, and we'll have a lot of Super Bowl stuff next week as we get ready for the game. Food, commercials, all that crap, prop bets. But at least 10 commercials that will air during the Super Bowl on Fox have sold for $8 million. They're all sold out, by the way. They've been sold out since like November, I think. Fox reported in November that it had sold out of all the ad spots at what it said it believed to be record pricing. Fox CEO Lachlan Murdoch said at the time that spots were dwindling, the price increased, and then, according to reports, Super Bowl ads normally increase by about $100,000 each year. This year, the increase was reportedly closer to $500,000. Oof. And that's on the average. That's not just for the ones at the last, minute or whatever, but yeah.
Hey, by the way, probably going to set a record in Eau Claire and lacrosse today. The record high in Eau Claire for today is 50. That was set in 1896, by the way.
Damn.
And the forecast calls for a high of 49, so you're right there. If it just is a degree or two, there's no snow on the ground, it's probably going to overachieve that. And then in lacrosse, our record 48, and our forecast is 54 today. So sounds like we're going to break some records.
Also, an update. It sounds like the D.C. police are reporting no survivors in that plane helicopter collision that occurred late last night by the Ronald Reagan Airport, and the plane and the helicopter, the Black Hawk, crashing into the Potomac, and it sounds like nobody survives as of right now. Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene will continue with some Jerry Cantrell in just a few minutes, and it'll be time for my Hypothetical Thursday question for Gene.
What with the eyebrow?
I didn't do anything with my eyebrow.
What with the eyebrow?
There was nothing with the eyebrow. I have a tick.
I saw it do that.
I have a tick.
He just did it again.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Weekdays, 6 to 9.
Pop Evil with What Remains on Rock Mornings. It was cool to catch up with them this weekend at the Riverfront Revolt.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of cool videos and pictures from the center about the show. They did a nice job.
Paul texted in and said Roy Hobbs. I don't know why I said Roy Hodges, but I thanked him, and he said that his favorite movie of all time was The Quiet Man, which I think had the Duke in it, right? Dean said, I saw a post on social media saying there were U.S. figure skaters, their coaches, families on the plane. Yes. And again, it sounds like everyone that was involved in that mid-air collision between an American Airlines flight and a Black Hawk helicopter, it sounds like everyone is dead. That they haven't been able to recover any.
They're not very helpful. Let's just say that.
We had a text earlier from Corbin Hypothetical Thursday, first one ever here.
And he says what?
He said, hypothetical question, if I get absolutely sloshed at my wife's work party and start dancing on the bar to Cotton Eye Joe, how much trouble do you think I would be in? I said all the trouble.
10 out of 10 trouble.
Brandon said, don't embarrass your wife, Corbin. Says, fact, I know Corbin very well, and it's a credit union annual party. Oh, man. Those bankers, they get wild.
I would like to see the video of
those
Cotton Eye
bankers.
Joe.
Of him dancing on the bar?
Yes.
Yeah. Connor, your hypothetical question was, which character in a movie would I switch places with?
And you said The Natural.
Yeah, Roy Hobbs from The Natural. Connor said he would be Fat Thor in Endgame, all the superpowers and drink anything all you want. I said, and you get to play video games.
Yeah.
Sit around and play video games.
Nice. That's a good one.
I was really going to hit you with a tough one today, but in light of all, because that's who I am.
I don't like this. I don't like this.
But in light of the events of today and last night, I decided to switch it up. Make it a little more fun. Hypothetical Thursday. We each, every Thursday, we'll each bring in a hypothetical question for the other person. See how they answer, and if you want to weigh in on it with your answers, find our contact info, rockmornings.com.
Furrowed. It's permanently furrowed because of you.
Yeah, I'm sure it had nothing to do with the 3 children that you raised.
Look at.
Maybe you should get some Botox. So then you're not so wrinkly and old looking.
What the hell is this?
All right, hypothetical question.
Oh, God.
All right, again, I was going to really give you a hard one today.
What? I don't understand why. What?
That's the point of a hypothetical question, is to make the person think.
It's not.
Put them in a situation that you don't know the answer.
Perfect. I love this.
This one will be much more fun for you. Hypothetical question.
Thursdays are a day I don't come to work. I'm no longer working Thursdays. It's a Monday through Wednesday gig.
Ready?
Sure. Whatever.
I already kind of know the answer to this one, but I want to hear you expand upon it. You could go and follow one band on tour for one tour. Which tour would it be? Which band, which tour? Like, you get to go on tour, you have tickets to the show, you get to, like, be there at the shows. You can tell me year, you can tell me the name of the tour, which, who would it be and which tour? Assuming that, they release the album, they go on the tour.
Mm-hmm. Like in past history?
Any tour, anytime, anywhere.
Oh, this is hard. Because part of me, because I saw one show and it was so amazing, would be Van Halen 1984. But probably Back in Black from AC/DC. Probably that tour.
Every
Probably.
show, AC/DC, Back in Black. Do you know who else was on that tour?
No. Monsters of Rock, I saw that, but I wouldn't. That was more like a festival, not necessarily a tour. But then you got the whole. I never saw Zeppelin.
New special on them coming out, by the way, on
Is
IMAX.
it really?
Yeah, documentary about Zeppelin.
Like, I never saw them.
It's like next week, I think.
But then there's the whole. I mean, that's what 10 albums would you take if you were on a desert island?
So Back in Black, that was what, 81?
Sure.
79, 80, 81, somewhere around there. And what tour did you see Ace? I mean, you've seen them once, right? When you met them many years ago. Do you know what tour that was or what year? 90-something?
90-something.
So AC/DC, Back in Black.
I mean, that's what I'm just...
Somewhere in the early 80s. I'm assuming they went out on tour several times on that album.
Well, it was first one was Brian, obviously, after Bon Scott. So, 80. It looks like the tour is 80.
And who was on the tour with them? Does it say?
Def Leppard, ZZ Top, Blackfoot, White Snake.
That wouldn't be too bad. How many dates?
Oh my gosh, a ton. I'm looking at it right now. I like a ton. A ton. Every day. I mean, seriously, it doesn't look like they took the 4th of July off.
All right.
And then they had a week, but otherwise, every day.
Got to find a day to do laundry in there. So you would go AC/DC, the Back in Black tour with Whitesnake, Def Leppard, and ZZ Top?
Mm-hmm. That's
maybe. You can't say maybe. I have to say
you
can't.
Well, that's
the point of a hypothetical.
My answer right now, but you have to come up with something. If I was given more time, like I said, you could come up with 20 of them, 30 of them.
All right, so
probably
Gene,
somebody that's dead, right?
Well, that's a lot of people. Yeah, I would say, and I was asked this question when we were in Salem, Massachusetts. We went into a bar.
And somebody said?
And it was a weird, I don't remember how it came up exactly, but someone said something about if you could go back in time and see, it was more of one of those questions.
Yeah, see one band. I would, yeah.
And I said Prince, because I never got to see Prince.
Yeah.
And I would love to go and be at First Avenue in his heyday when he owned that place.
Yes, and see him there.
And not just for him. I mean, obviously to watch it, but to be a part of that and to feel that energy.
Tour, though?
I don't know if I would go on a whole tour.
Yeah.
For me, it would be Metallica. It would probably be the Black Album, the Snake Pit, the whole 9 yards. I mean, that was... Or maybe, it would be the Black Album with... And I saw this show at Foxborough Stadium. I've talked about it many times. It was Guns N' Roses on the Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 tour with Metallica on the Black Album. Oh, my God. It was... And I was 16, and I was just entering the world of concert going, and it blew my mind. You know what I mean? And it was sort of like, how do you go from the Super Bowl to the preseason opener? You know what I mean? Now it's like I go to concerts, and I'm like, it's nice.
They did a nice job.
Yeah, okay, nice little clap. All right, yeah, you did good. Yeah, it was. You sound all right, but you're not Metallica and Guns N' Roses in '94. You know what I mean? So. But I would follow that around if I could. But, again, in the other hypothetical question about concerts and going back in time and all that crap, it would, and I said it, and the guy's like, that's the only right answer. and I think it was because he said he was from Minnesota originally, and we were talking about how we were from Wisconsin, and so I said I would have to go see Prince. There's a million artists that I've never seen, obviously.
Yes.
Because of the years I was born and grew up and all that stuff,
right.
But in terms of impact on music and all that, and just to be a part of that and see what it was like, the sweat and the sexuality and just the movement, I don't know, it just would be incredible to me to see that. Prince at First Avenue, like in his heyday. Like Purple Rain, 84, 85, 86, somewhere in that vicinity. But yeah, if I had to answer my own question, it would be the Metallica Guns N' Roses tour. I mean, that was legendary. Gene goes with AC/DC Back in Black. All right. Mike texted in and said, Plasmatics with Kiss, Wendy O. Williams. Apparently, Mike's got a hard-on for Wendy O. Williams and her black electric tape over her nipples.
Plus, I could have been in Belgium and the Netherlands and Canada and the United States, England, Scotland, Norway, Germany, France.
Now that you're a world traveler.
Switzerland.
Gene, the big world traveler.
Australia. I could see him in Australia at Sydney.
Their homeland, yeah. Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene, Hypothetical Thursday. Each and every Thursday from now on, we'll ask each other hypothetical questions. And again, you can chime in, rockmornings.com, if you want to find our contact info. Office Core is going to join us in a bit, just after 8 o'clock. We'll get to the bad news with happy music and a whole lot more. Right now, it's Jerry Cantrell.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Jerry Cantrell with his latest that is Vilified, and it was good to see him last summer at Copeland Park and Event Center as part of the Ultra Rock Summer Concert Series, celebrating 2 decades of sobriety. Bunch of articles on Loudwire, Blabbermouth, all that stuff, talking about his road to sobriety journey, 20 years of it. It's Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We got Office Cora joining us here in a bit, talking about what she's doing this weekend in the 715. Should we ask her a hypothetical question, or is her life hypothetical enough?
I think it might.
I don't think there's any answer she could give that would surprise me, because she's so out of left field. You know what I mean? Like, I would expect it from her. I'd be like, oh yeah, that sounds like Office Cora.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mike, who texted in a little bit after I asked Jean about which band she would follow on tour and which tour it would be. He said the Plasmatics with Kiss and Wendy O. Williams. And obviously, if you know about her, you know, kind of a punk legend and very famous for black electric tape all over her body, covering her naughty bits. He said, I was 15 and it was the whole punk persona. No one was showing like she did. I do agree. She had a not so hot face. Have a great day. I love listening to you too. I just said I never found her all that attractive. But I can see why you would be a 15-year-old boy and you'd see that and you'd be like, oh my God. I remember vividly seeing my first Hustler and being like, oh, well, that looks like something I'd be interested in. Yeah. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Hypothetical Thursdays. We'll see how we do next week. I don't know why you're so worried about it.
Because your face. That's why. Because your face.
Well, your face.
And your eyebrows.
Jeez. 20-something years of doing this. And you think that I'm going to button hook you?
Yeah.
All right. We'll see what happens next week. Again, Office Cora coming up in a bit. The friggin' sports as well. Bad news, happy music. Going to be a hell of a day today. 54 and sunny.
Record-breaking, probably. In
car
the
wash
whole
line going to be
area.
longer than it's ever been before.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody and their grandmother going to be out washing their car today. So
walking around. I saw a motorcycle yesterday.
I saw one yesterday as well. I think it was someone we know.
That's something in January, huh?
That doesn't surprise me. There's too much salt brine all over the ground. I don't mind the sand. Like, I don't think, a lot of motorcyclists will say, you don't want to ride with the sand because you might dump it or whatever going around a corner. For me, it's the brine and all that crap, and you get it on the bike, and how do you clean it off? And
January. Motorcycle in January.
Yeah. Oh, 54. Nirvana coming up.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Weekdays from 6 a.m. until 9 a.m.
Nirvana smelling like teen spirits on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Sunny and mid-50s today. Might even get close to 60.
Mm-hmm.
I might actually rake. I've got like leaves that are left over from the fall.
Mm-hmm.
All along where my landscaping is.
Kind of pooled up in one area.
Yeah. I might get out there and get some of those up. Wilmer Valderrama is 45. You know him best as Fez from that 70s show.
Knock, knock. Who's there? I did it.
He did it. He was always trying to do it. Christian Bale, 51. Dark Knight trilogy. Bunch of other stuff, obviously. American Psycho. Charles S. Dutton is 74. You probably know him best as the groundskeeper from the movie Rudy.
Oh, yep.
Rudy
Yep.
Rudiger, know that he was 5 foot nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You're 5 feet nothing, 100 and nothing, and you got hardly a speck of athletic ability. And you hung in with the best college football team in the land for 2 years. And you're also going to walk out of here with a degree from the University of Notre Dame. In this lifetime, you don't have to prove nothing to nobody except yourself.
Charles S. Dutton, 74. Also turning 74 today, even though he looks like he's 9,000 years old, Phil Collins. Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight, Another Day in Paradise, Easy Lover, Sussudio, so many other hits. Obviously his time with Genesis, but he's been crippled now, right?
I could watch videos of people doing In the Air Tonight with their kitchen cupboards all day long.
Also celebrating a birthday today, he's 95. And he's kind of like the abominable snowman right now, where like people see him in L.A. walking around and they take pictures of him like a Yeti. Gene Hackman, 95 years old today.
What I am bargaining with is what you do not have. The son of Jor-El.
Yeah, Lex Luthor from back in the day, the Christopher Reeves, and Behind Enemy Lines, a whole bunch of others. Also born on this day in 1882, he died in 1945. The 32nd president, who was elected to 4 terms, FDR.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
I guess they're trying to bring that back, too, like a third term for Trump. You see that?
Yeah, I did see that.
FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, 32nd president, born on this day in 1882. Married his cousin Eleanor, had polio. Also on the dime. That's him. You got any dimes?
Doubt it.
January 30th, 1835. 190 years ago today, Andrew Jackson became the first president to survive an assassination attempt. He was attacked by a guy who had a pair of pistols, and both of them misfired. So he beat the hell out of the guy with his cane.
That guy had one job to do, huh?
2 shots at it, too. 1933, 92 years ago today, the Lone Ranger was heard on the radio for the first time, ran for 2,956 episodes before ending 22 years later in 1955. That's a lot of radio.
That is a lot.
They didn't have, like, best sub that they ran.
To fill some time?
No, they certainly didn't.
It's all new material?
56 years ago today, 1969, the Beatles made their final public appearance as a group, and that was on the rooftop of the Apple Studios in London. The show was stopped when the police arrived after neighbors complained about the noise.
Can you imagine being that person?
Somebody's always got to be that person. Some
about the
Karen.
noise.
Her name was probably Karen.
It probably was.
John Lennon famously said,
I'd like to say thank you on behalf of the group and ourselves. I hope we pass the audition.
Yeah.
It's too loud up there with the Beatles playing on top of the roof.
The Beatles.
Ugh.
You know. 1973, 52 years ago today, Kiss played their very first concert. It was at a place called the Popcorn Club, and they earned $50, and they played for less than 10 people. It took them a while to get to that point, but... And on this day in 2009, in theaters, Liam Neeson kicking ass and taking names all over the globe.
I don't know who you are.
Oh.
I don't know what you want. If you're looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
Hell yeah. And that's exactly what he did. Taken, the first one in theaters on this day in 2009. Right?
Man of his word.
Yeah, he's not going to tell you something and not come through.
No, not that guy.
That's not how he rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Taken. Well, if our phones work, and it looks like they're not, we'll get Office Cora on the phone here in just a bit, talk about what's happening in the 715 this weekend. If they're not working, then we'll hear from Sleep Theory. So stick around.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Start your day with Rock Mornings.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on Thursdays just after 8 o'clock. We're joined by Office Cora to talk to us about what she's doing this weekend in the 715. How are you, Cora?
Hello. I'm doing really good. How are you guys?
Doing good. How's the house sitting? You were staying at someone's house while you had a bunch of strangers living in your house.
I needed to get away. I'm just kidding. The people living in my house are lovely, but I got an opportunity to house sit this house on a lake with the world's coolest dog. This dog was sent to like a military boot camp. So she's so well behaved. I've never met a dog like this.
What's the name of the dog and what kind of dog is it?
Her name's Hazel, and she's a Great Pyrenees mix from the Chippewa Falls shelter.
Very nice. And you've been house sitting now for about a week or so, and you got a few days left?
Yep, it's a 2-week gig, and I am enjoying every minute of it. I don't live this kind of life. I tried making, I don't know if you've seen the Office episode where Kevin Malone makes that big batch of chili, and then he brings it in, he spills it everywhere.
That's you?
Okay, I downloaded this recipe, and it took me 2 days to make it because I didn't know how to use some of the fancy gadgets. I couldn't figure out the can opener. It was rough.
I will say I've had a few can openers that I have trouble with. I'm used to the old school one where you puncture the lid and you twist it around. There's one that goes around the outside of it, and I don't know what the hell to do with that thing. I can't figure it out.
Right? So anyway, I'm having a few struggles, but overall, I'm pretty much crushing it with this house sitting gig. In fact, the next door neighbors came over to ask if I might be available to do the same gig with them.
Wow.
Yeah,
I don't know about your life.
I'm pretty popular.
It's wild. You got a wild life.
Very random life. A lot of random stuff going on.
Yeah, it's very.
Well,
very.
Office Core, last weekend or last Thursday when we talked to you, I believe you were talking about some kind of a show, an interactive show, right?
Yes, it was a Johnny Cash Folsom Prison experience, and it was really, really good. Like, all of the entire audience were prisoners, and then on stage was Johnny, and they were recording this date in 1968, and June Carter was there, the Statler brothers were there, and I think it was Waylon Jennings showed up out of was he in that era?
Yeah, sounds like towards the
The
end.
guy that sang Mama Tried, he gets up on stage, started singing the song, and then they shooed him away. So that was a little odd. But overall, it was a good show.
And what do you got planned this weekend? What's going on in the 715 this weekend for Office Cora?
Well, for me, I'm probably just vegging out at this fancy house. But for everyone else, Ramon's Ice Cream for Breakfast, it's an annual ice cream for breakfast event. It returns. And that is Saturday, 9 to 8 a.m., and it's at Ramon's.
I think you went backwards there with your time.
8 to 9?
I mean 9 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay, so it's an all-day breakfast, ice cream for breakfast at Ramon's?
Yes.
And what's your favorite kind of ice cream flavor if you were to choose?
Oh, I really like the mint chocolate chip.
All right. I enjoy a good mint chocolate chip. I'm also a black raspberry fan. Enjoy a good black raspberry.
Yes. Or the one with the dark cherries in it. I like that too.
What else is happening in the 715?
Well, you can head out to Loopy's because it is the Polar Plunge for Special Olympics.
Is it really? Good. Okay.
And that is 9:30 to 4. Even if you don't feel like jumping in the river, you can go just to support the people that do.
And that's on Saturday, I'm assuming?
Yes, that is Saturday. Starts at 9:30, ends at 4.
Yeah, the one in La Crosse is in early March, and it's the oldest one in the state. And you guys are having your Polar Plunge this weekend, and it's going to be mild. You might have people out there sunbathing. Are you wearing your bikini today, or what's going on?
Wave. No, probably shorts and a t-shirt, maybe.
Yeah. Well, they're talking.
And for the people who just like to be indoors, there is a Bluebird watercolor class.
What the hell does that mean?
And that is at Beaver Creek Reserve. You go to Beaver Creek Reserve, you get your blank canvas, and they teach you how to paint a bluebird with watercolor.
Is there wine involved? Is it one of those sip and paint things, or is it just strictly
bring your own?
sober?
I think it's bring your own. You can just bring your own.
Yeah, I think you bring your own.
Okay.
But, that's just me.
That Beaver Creek Reserve is really cool, by the way.
Office Cora joining us on the phone each and every Thursday to tell us what's happening in and around the 715. If you're looking for more events, you can head to aroundthe715.com. Office Cora, have fun breaking things at the place you're house sitting.
Hey, Cora, we were talking earlier this morning. If you could be one character out of any movie, who would you pick?
So, Office Cora, just to let you know, we started a new thing called Hypothetical Thursday. And every Thursday, we will each bring in a hypothetical question for the other person and, see what the answer is and involve our listeners and see what they have to say. And Gene's question for me this morning was, if I could switch places or be any character in a movie, who would I be? And I went with Roy Hobbs in the movie The Natural. Who would you choose?
I would be Drew Barrymore. What is that movie where she just keeps waking up and she forgets everything?
50 First Dates.
50 First Dates.
50 First Dates. Yep. Every day. It's brand new.
So you just want to wake up with a strange man every day, is what you're saying?
Yeah. And brand new. It's brand new.
Is that how you roll, Office Core? Is every day?
It would be like that exciting first date feeling
all the time,
every day.
She looks very excited every time she forgets who her husband is, the guy that she's fallen in love with. She looks very excited.
Yeah.
Don't be judging me, Brian.
Well, all I hear when you say that is that you like to wake up with a strange man every morning.
No, she just likes to be impressed by life.
A different strange man every morning.
Thank you, Gene. No, the same man. You just have the butterflies.
Butterflies every day. I see.
Yeah. Everyday butterflies.
Well, tell Mr. Texas to get on it, and maybe that's
Yes, that is very good advice.
All right. Office Core every Thursday. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll talk to you next week, okay?
Yes. Have a great day.
Every Thursday, just after 8 o'clock, Office Core letting us know what's going on in and around the 715. Cracking open that door a little bit more, finding out about her life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Got a text from Doc. He said, I was at that Kiss and Plasmatics show in '83. Plasmatics were by far the worst band I've ever seen live.
Shut up.
Mike and Doc apparently do not share the whole Wendy O. Williams Plasmatic thing. So, thanks, Doc. We'll get to the friggin' sports after Sleep Theory. Stuck in my head.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find the daily podcast at rockmornings.com.
That is Sleep Theory was stuck in my head. The friggin' sports! Brought to you by hockey and euchre and the Admirals.
I saw this.
And it's going to be awesome. Already looking at getting tickets.
Are you?
Yeah.
So,
in a tribute to the late, great Bob Euchre, who, of course, passed away just several days ago, the Milwaukee Admirals will once again don the brown and yellow novelty jerseys that they wore 19 seasons ago. The design will come out of the mothballs for the final game of the regular season on April 18th against the Chicago Wolves. And then the game-worn jerseys will be auctioned off for charity. The team made the announcement last week. Euchre, back in the day, in the mid-'90s, was teaming up with the, at the time, owner of the team, Lloyd Pettit, in a series of commercials that were called The Adventures of Lloyd and Bob.
You know, team apparel is getting to be a big business these days. And I'll tell you, Lloyd and Jane are some smart marketers. So I wasn't surprised when they called the staff together during the off-season to say,
we've decided we want to redesign the Admiral's uniforms.
And when they were talking about hot colors and all, I got the hint. And today's the day the guys get them out of my new creation. Pretty sharp, huh, Chief?
Admirals Hockey, Wednesday night at the Bradley Center.
Oh, no.
Maybe we can get away with the old ones after all.
So again, Bob Euchre teaming up with the then Admirals team owner Lloyd Pettit in a series of commercials in the mid-'90s that were called The Adventures of Lloyd and Bob. And in one of them, which you just heard, Euchre designed the team's new uniforms patterned after a brown and yellow plaid coat.
A sports jacket, basically.
That he wore that was fit for a 1970s era used car salesman.
Yeah.
Although the jerseys were initially just planned to be part of a humorous ad campaign, the team did eventually wear them in a couple of games back in 05-06. Admirals president John Greenberg said, "We were all extremely saddened by Bob's passing last week. Bob was a Milwaukee institution, but we are heartened to know that his impact on generations of Wisconsinites will continue. What we are doing is just a small token of appreciation for the person that gave so much of his community, or to this community, during his 91 years." All the proceeds, by the way, from the sale of the jerseys after the game on April 18th against the Chicago Wolves will benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation, a charity that Euchre worked closely with over his years, of course, with the Brew Crew and all the times in the booth and everything.
Yeah.
So April 18th, if you want to go to an Admirals game and see Euchre.
That's all. We got one goddamn hit.
You can't say goddamn on the air.
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
Yeah, you want to see his Euchre jerseys that he designed back in the 90s that they wore almost 20 years ago.
And then auctioning off for the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to go for a pretty penny. I don't know if I'll be able to get my hands on any of those, but that'll be a hell of a game to be at. I'm sure it'll be fun and exciting, and they'll have a lot of tributes to Euchre on April 18th.
Post-game show is brought to you by... Christ, I can't find it. The hell with it.
How was it last night?
It was fun.
Yeah.
It's always tough when you go and you see a movie that you love so much, and I know every word from front to back. I don't need the movie to even have sound. I know all of the sound. So I'm sitting there in the theater, and I'm that guy. Like, I'm quoting the whole movie under my breath as best I can. But it's funny, and, wishing that Donut was there. That was a movie that he and I watched all the time when we were kids. And, over and over and over and over again.
Into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside.
The friggin' sports brought to you by Bob Euchre and the Milwaukee Admirals. April 18th against the Chicago Wolves. Those are heinous looking, by the way, jerseys. I mean,
they're great.
They're great, but they're ugly as sin. I mean, they're so ugly. Yeah. But if I had some cash laying around, I would try to get my hands on one.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to bad news, happy music in just a bit. Stick around.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Weekdays, 6 to 9.
You're about to enter a beautiful, exciting, wonderful new world.
A cockroach living in your nostril. Now that's just nasty. Add in some haven't pooped for 30 days.
Poop is raining from the ceilings. Poop.
And sprinkle in some hashtag Florida Man for flavor.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man. Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man quits his Burger King job, steals all of their chicken nuggets.
It's bad news.
Bad news.
With happy music.
Let's rock.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever found in your food?
I don't know.
Mouse, toad,
No.
hair, fingernail,
Hair, is that weird?
earring, snot.
Gross. No. I don't know. It's not weird. I choked once on a shell of like a shrimp. Wasn't supposed to be, like the...
Yeah.
But
the tail.
it's not weird.
Not a knife, a large knife.
In my cake?
In your sandwich?
Is this a robbery?
No.
Is this a jailbreak thing?
An Instagram model from Australia named Emily Bright posted a video claiming she bought a wrap at a sandwich place in New Zealand that found a knife
inside it.
I was just eating my chicken wrap and I bit into this little orange bit. I'm like, that's a really hard carrot. Look what they left in my wrap. Thank goodness I ate from this side and not from that side. But that's pretty funny.
A lot of you are saying I should sue. This isn't America, this is New Zealand, and I'm not quite too sure if that's something that I can do. It's funny. It was a shock, a big surprise, and it made my day. And I didn't want to get the sweet old lady fired.
Gotta be honest, I wish more Americans would take her advice. People be suing over the stupidest crap, like you're too fat to get in my lift. Well, you're 400 pounds, lady. I'm sorry, but that's the reality of it all. Maybe you're a little too big to get into that car.
So she bit in the handle of it as opposed to the blade.
Yeah, she took a couple of bites and bit into something hard. Luckily, it was the handle of the knife, not the blade. She thought it was a carrot. It's going viral because obviously, how does that happen? Well, I don't know. Surgeons leave instruments inside people. It happens.
It's happened before.
She called it funny. Said she's lucky. Didn't start eating it from the other end. People are trying to get her to sue. Sue for what? Somebody forgot a knife in a sandwich. I mean, did she have, injuries? It's like, man, why are we so happy to sue all the time?
Well, she's from New Zealand. Sounds like she's not going to.
Take the L. You know what I mean? You got a knife in your sandwich. All right, now you got a free knife.
Nice. That's a knife.
I could see getting another sandwich for free, though.
Like maybe
I'm not eating the sandwich. I want a replacement sandwich.
Yeah, I would go back and I'd be like, hey, just to let you know, I happened to bite into this sandwich and there was a knife. I'm not looking to cause an issue, but if you could give me a free sandwich, I'd be grateful. Right?
Gift card for sandwiches for life.
Something along those lines. Yeah.
A wrap for life.
That would be nice, but I wouldn't expect it. Now, if the guy's like toenail clippings are in there, then we're going to have some problems. Now we're gonna have that's intended as opposed to an oops. Somebody just forgot the knife in there. A 40-year-old man in Tennessee named Rodriguez Wilborn was caught after allegedly breaking into a home last week and stealing a toilet. Who throws a shoe? Honestly. Who steals a toilet? Honestly. Apparently it was still in the box. Now.
Oh, okay. As opposed to he did plumbing.
Not sure if he was working on the house or was on the crew that was putting in a new bathroom, but that happened to me when I was a security guard many years ago. They were building a new grocery store, and I was an overnight security guard, and my job was just to walk around and make sure people weren't getting into the building and stealing stuff or whatever.
And somebody was in there stealing something?
Somebody showed up in the middle of the night, and it was one of the landscaping people that was contracted to do the landscaping and had been there earlier in the day and dropped off the landscaping, and they came back in the middle of the night to pick up the landscaping with their own personal vehicle. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, oh, please don't call the cops. I'll leave. And I'm like, so they basically they were stealing their own company's landscaping. So I don't know if that's what this guy was doing.
Yeah, he was a construction worker or something.
He reportedly got the box out of the house and was getting ready to leave the property when he realized that he had been caught. Unclear if he had heard someone, an alarm, or saw a camera or something like that, but he started dragging the toilet back to the house and left it outside, ran off, jumped the fence while fleeing. Police caught up with him a little bit later. He was charged with aggravated burglary. But this guy's out there stealing toilets.
Maybe he's building a house too, and he, save a couple $100.
Yeah. The victim, able to positively identify Wilborn as the burglar, told police the toilet was missing from the home. Taken into custody, he admitted to forcing the door open onto the house and taking the toilet. I have to know the toilet's in there, right?
Yes. Well, you aren't like, wow, cool. A big box with a toilet in it. That's just what I came for.
The video of this is pretty wild. But 3 teenagers, or people, I should say. They're not sure what age they are, but police in New York searching for 3 people who stole a subway train and took it for a joyride. Bro, I don't know if... Number 1, I'm never going to New York. Number 2, if I do go, I don't think I'm getting on the subway. It sounds like an awful place. Pizza rats. There's now a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup rat. There's people getting punched and thrown on the tracks. People are stealing the trains.
The guy with the fire.
The guy that lit that girl on fire and then watched her burn. I mean, it just sounds like a horrible place.
So it was an unmanned...
This was at 10 o'clock on Saturday night. According to the police, MTA employees told officers people entered the unoccupied train, operated at a short distance, also broke numerous train car windows.
Sounds like...
Posted their joyride on social media. The video shared on social media shows them inside the conductor's cabin with one operating the controls. One sits on the front door of the train with his legs dangling over the tracks. The other one's standing behind him. So, yeah, people are breaking into trains in New York and taking them for joyrides.
Imagine somebody is in front of the train right now and they hanging off. And then say the train stopped. They could fall on the tracks and the train will run over them. It'll be over.
Social media.
Yeah, social media.
Social media.
Yep. That's
too much of the phone.
Too much on the phones. Too much on the phones.
Well said.
Yeah, a joyride might be a bit of a stretch. Short distance.
Kids being dumb.
I mean, now if you're taking that thing all around New York and you got Keanu Reeves up top and Pop Quiz Hot Shot, but yeah. A school in California had to close.
Okay.
Because thieves broke in and stole all the copper wiring in the building, and they got no power. They got nothing.
It's worth a pretty penny.
Solano Whitman Leadership Academy expected to take about a week to get the power back up and running. But if the school needs to be closed for longer, the district will arrange alternate student placements. They were forced to cancel classes until further notice after its copper wiring was stolen, knocking out the power to the property. The school said in a statement, students have been set up with an alternative learning hubs or can complete work at home for the time being. Somebody took all the copper out of the building.
Upon further examination, we discovered someone had broken in and has stripped all our copper wiring out of the breakers, essentially leaving the campus dark. We're not flush with a bunch of money to all of a sudden replace, thousands of feet of wiring, copper wiring.
How long
right now, we have an estimate of it'll be somewhere between $150,000 to $250,000 just to get this campus back up.
Oh my gosh!
Dude.
How long would it take to steal all of that?
I don't know.
Like a weekend?
Maybe. If you know what you're doing, I would assume you get it done in a couple of days. I don't know. I mean, you got to, no school on the weekend. So, you get in there on Friday night.
You got all the time in the world.
You get the whole 72 hours to rip all the copper wiring out. There's you got to Google this guy. You got to clean Google.
Yeah.
You know who Sideshow Bob is, right?
Yes.
The Simpsons. You're familiar with Sideshow Bob?
Yeah, so this guy looks like him or something?
Oh. And it gets better because it's in Springfield, Missouri.
Who is it?
His name is Jimmy Nunnery. Nunnery. Jimmy Nunnery. A Greene County grand jury indicting a homeless man wanted in the death of another man in Springfield. Authorities arresting Jimmy Nunnery. Back in October, Nunnery faces a second-degree murder charge in the case. Officers found Brian York dead under the bushes near a couple of streets there back in October. Said his injuries were consistent with an assault. Not known what led to the attack. Detectives continuing to investigate, asking anyone with additional information to reach out. But yeah, this guy's going viral because he looks kind of like Sideshow Bob with his wild, crazy hair.
He definitely has some hair, doesn't he?
I told you, Sideshow Bob.
That feels like a lot happening. Like he's a lot.
Last but not least, if there's one thing I can take away from this story, it's that if you are around this guy and he's playing video games or talking about video games or involved in any way, shape, or form with video games, leave him alone. You ready? 29-year-old Oquavius Chandler arrested, hashtag Florida man, arrested on Sunday for assaulting his roommate with a bologna sandwich. Apparently, you can get arrested in Florida for assaulting your roommate with a bologna sandwich. The reason why he got arrested is because it's not the first time that he's assaulted someone.
With a sandwich?
The guy told police he was trying to sleep and took his PS5 back from Oquavius' bedroom because he was being too loud while playing it.
That happens, yeah. A lot
the
of yelling.
sandwich apparently hit him in the center of the chest, and that was it. The police report said he had no visible injuries. Thank goodness. God forbid you get injured by
a round slap mark from the bologna, just like a round.
Not so much here, but
really right here.
Oquavius got charged with a felony, however, because it's not his first rodeo. He's been arrested multiple times for battery, including 2 other attacks that also involve video games.
And sandwiches?
No. The video games are the key component here, not the sandwiches. He got upset over a video game back in 2022 and threatened a 60-year-old man with a knife. And then a year later, in 2023, he pled no contest after choking out his own sister during a fight that involved
video games.
Video games. He's now facing some fresh charges for felony battery and violating his probation. So again, if Oquavius is around video games, maybe leave him alone.
My bologna has a first name. It's O-S-C-A-R.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, the roommates kind of got off lucky. I mean, choked out his sister, and there's a knife involved. This was just a sandwich.
Yeah, he's like sliding down the scale of violence. I mean, he started out choking and knifing, and now he's gone to, I think it's more of a what do I have at hand? And right now I have a bologna sandwich. Dude, with the grocery prices in this day and age, you can't be wasting a good bologna sandwich.
And the stomach? You got hit in the stomach with the sandwich.
Chest, I think. I mean, do the math here. You're talking about, white bread, right? Probably white bread. Loaf of white bread. That's got to be $3-4,
right?
Right?
Is it the thick cut bologna? Because, they've got the thicker slices.
Well, let's just say it's the Oscar Mayer cheap deli bologna that you get at the store in the yellow packet. That's what, $2-3?
Oh,
yeah, you know this.
Easily.
Let's assume there's some cheese, maybe Kraft singles, right? You go with the classic.
Little butter, little mayo. Any mayo?
Butter, mayo, certainly mayo. Maybe a little mustard. I don't know about butter. What are you doing with the butter?
It's dairy state. Put butter on everything.
You don't put butter on a bologna and cheese sandwich?
You might.
No, you don't. Every time you talk about food, I get mad. Why do you do this? What's wrong with you?
Why can't you put butter on it?
You don't put butter on a bologna sandwich.
I don't think you make the rules.
I make the rules about bologna sandwiches. It's in my job title.
Mayo,
you don't.
butter.
You don't put butter on a bologna sandwich.
Could.
That is some psycho level stuff.
It is not.
In other bad news with happy music, Gene puts butter on a bologna and cheese sandwich.
You could, is what I'm saying.
God, your kids, they're going to have a hard time in life. They're going to go to work one day with a bologna and cheese sandwich.
With mayo.
With butter on it, and somebody's going to make fun of them.
Would you ever put a...
No, I wouldn't put butter on a bologna and cheese sandwich. There's mayo and mustard. Who's reaching in the fridge? You know what this bologna sandwich needs? Butter. No.
Yeah.
No, you just made that up to make me mad. That's not a real thing. Anyways, as I mentioned earlier,
that guy.
If you see Oquavius Chandler in Florida and he's playing video games or he's around video games or he's talking about video, just leave him alone. Because you might get choked, you might get stabbed, or you might get a bologna sandwich.
I wonder how his relationship is with his sister.
It's probably not good. I'm guessing Thanksgiving's a very tense situation.
Think they mended fences?
Doubt it. Maybe he offered her a delicious bologna sandwich without butter.
Or with.
You did not say that and mean it. You totally made it up.
I did not. Or with. You could have it with.
You don't put butter on a bologna sandwich.
You don't make the rules.
That is some next level Jeffrey Dahmer stuff.
Okay. All right.
All right, Ted Bundy. Jesus. I told you.
Support dairy farmers, Brian.
We're going to watch some movies, make some bologna sandwiches with butter, and I'm going to take some pictures.
You can put butter on a bologna sandwich.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you can.
You cannot.
Yeah,
I'm not going to stand here and listen to this baloney. He won't, you know. He doesn't stand for baloney.
No bologna.
Yeah.
With butter.
Bologna, whipped butter, room temperature, lightly toasted bread. You can if you want.
No, you don't. Don't invite me over your house ever again for food. I don't know what the hell's going on over there. Jesus Christ.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com. Call.
Hello.
Email.
I tried emailing you.
Text. So many ways to check in with us. Check. We rely on you guys for traffic updates, requests, and all sorts of other stuff.
Check this out.
Rockmornings.com is the website. Listen live. Check out the daily podcast. Register to win contests. And also find all of our contact info. Doug, who is high on painkillers from his shoulder surgery, says, dude, better butter on one slice, mayo on the other. I've been doing it my entire life. Well, Doug, you're a psychopath as well.
See? That's what I was saying.
That's some psycho level stuff. Butter on a bologna sandwich with cheese. You already have mayo and mustard. You don't need anything else. It's perfect. Perfect the way it is. T-Stat texted in, said, speaking of sandwiches, my father would put butter on his sandwiches he would make for the 32 years he worked for the highway department. Yeah, bologna and cheese?
Kind of any sandwich.
Chris in Alabama texted in and said, dude's going to get paroled in like 2 years and his parole stuff is going to say no playing video games. Yeah, that guy obviously has some issues with video games.
He can't,
and his anger. Somebody texted in and said, I don't eat mayo, so butter is a more than acceptable on any sandwich. Tell Brian to settle down. I will not settle down. You're wrong, just like Gina's wrong, and you should take your butter and not put it on a sandwich because that's not where it goes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does.
Sparks says ketchup is the best on bologna. What am I doing? What world am I living in? What are people doing?
That he's
putting ketchup and butter and
up to him.
What the hell is wrong with you people?
He likes ketchup more than he doesn't like mustard.
I wish I had learned this 20 years ago when I first moved here. I would have moved right back.
Come on now.
I would have been safer with the psycho who tried to kill me in my sleep than with you butter-eating people. I love butter, but I don't put it on a bologna and cheese sandwich. I got mayo and mustard for that. I don't know what the hell you're doing.
Ketchup.
That's
it's
next level.
It up. He's spicy.
I thought butter was bad. Ketchup's even worse. Just drink the ketchup. That's all you really care about. How do I get the ketchup in my body?
He's dipping it.
Brenda texted in and said, when you're poor and broke, you use butter on a bologna sandwich. I'm with Gene. This is mind-boggling. Absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Aaron said, LOL, my parents always put butter on our bologna sandwiches. Butter on any sandwich is gross. Yeah. All right, so Aaron agrees with me that it's not a thing, but her parents did it.
Yeah. It's not that.
It's crazy. It is. I'd never heard of it. Cheryl said, if I were to eat a bologna and cheese sandwich, I would put butter on it. Mayo and mustard do not belong on my sandwiches. I can't believe I'm taking the L on this one. I can't believe it. It befuddles me that I'm taking the L. That people put butter on a bologna and cheese sandwich.
Why does that
That there's
befuddle
this
you?
many crazy people in the world.
Yeah, butter.
Zach said Hellman's nut mayo, LOL, with cheese and light mustard. There you go. Yeah. Some Hellman's, some mustard. You're good to go. TJ texted in and said, these texts are taking so goddamn long to load. Piece of crap, stupid website. We were discussing the knife and the wrap story on Sunday at Fox Bingo. I think I gained her a few followers by explaining what a sweet woman she is. Also extremely easy on the eyes, of course. Well, yeah, she's an Instagram influencer lady from Australia. Or New Zealand. I wouldn't expect her to not be beautiful.
Yes.
I don't think they have ugly women there. I don't think there's one. Courtney texted in and said, back when KFC had the Twister wrap, I bit into a bone and wing instead of a strip that was supposed to be in it. Chipped a tooth. Didn't even go back and tell them. Yeah. Travis, your boy, your punter. Go figure. Guys,
what's my Travis? What's he up to?
I unfortunately have buttered bologna and cheese sandwiches that I plan on also putting my Doritos on for lunch. I'll grant you the Doritos, right? That's a thing. It's more of like a 8-year-old thing, but whatever. Butter on a sandwich?
Yeah, thanks.
No.
High five, Travis. High fiving.
You people are nuts. All right. Thanks for all the correspondence. I'll take the L on the butter thing, I guess. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Get outside. It's going to be like in the mid-50s today. Enjoy it.